Hello, it is Chantel here, and you are watching Studio Expansion TV, bringing more passion, more profits, and more purpose to your studio. Now, one of the biggest challenges that studio directors face is how to hire the right staff, how to hire the right teachers. Because at the end of the day, the teachers are, they're the heart and soul of your studio in many ways. They're the glue that kind of keep the students coming back to the studio, and they're who deliver the experience that you're wanting to provide. So having the right type of teacher is so important. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps to ensure that you're going to get the right fit of a teacher who's going to stay with you long term. Now, I'm aware as a studio director, you ain't got a lot of time. So when we're hiring teachers, we want to make sure that we're able to filter out the applicants to make sure that we're getting to the right one. I'm not someone who recommends bringing them in straight away. I kind of like to go through a process. I'm going to walk you through it right now. The first thing that I like to do personally when hiring staff is get them to fill in a form or a survey. So you can do this even using a Google form. It's a free application, and you just kind of write questions and they submit answers and they get emailed to you. So you can email them a link with kind of your questions, and I'll go through that in a second about what questions to involve. But the good thing about this is that you're going to get straight away an impression of their communication skills. You're going to be seeing, what their experience is kind of on paper, and that way you'll know whether to take them to the next step in the application process. And this is a phone-based interview. Now, when we're on the phone, this is where we can really start to dive into their personality and what role they're going to play in the studio. When we're looking for teachers, we're looking for people who are confident. That's one of the biggest things that I'd be looking for, because I want to make sure if I'm bringing a teacher on board, I want to know that they're going to be able to go up and talk to parents and say, how is your child finding classes? Is there any questions you have? Can I assist you in any way? I want them to be able to do that. And I also want to make sure that the teachers, their lifestyle fits into the studio. Not that I need to be first priority in their life, but I certainly do need to have that sense of they're going to prioritize the studio in their life. So the worst thing is getting a flaky teacher who comes for the first 3 weeks and then, oh, sorry, I've got a yoga class tonight. No, can't handle that. So we want to make sure that there's a sense of commitment and that they're really going to invest into the studio, and therefore invest into the students, that they're passionate about developing their lesson plans, and that they've got a collaborative mindset, I suppose. And they're the types of things that I'd be asking on the phone. And I use this by a certain kind of strategy. If you've done the Studio Expansion program, you would have elicited your studio's values. So you'd have a sense of what's important in your studio. And I really believe that it's important to interview based on values. So we want to be asking them, like, what is important to you about giving kids confidence? Or can you give me an example of a time when you worked together as a team to be able to, deliver a certain, to meet a certain event or something like that? Can you share with me how you're passionate about increasing the artistry in your students? Or what type of ways do you use innovation to kind of in your lesson plans? So if they're the values of your studio, you're asking questions of how they have experienced it and then gone on to implement that into their teaching style. Because not only do we want to employ, have the qualifications, we want to make sure that they're collaborative with the studio. Now, what I mean by that, if their values are not right, if they can't give you any examples of how they have developed artistry in students, then you go, okay, that's where this ends. So, that's the thing. It's not just looking about the qualifications or the availability. Let's take it to the next level of values-based hiring. So we're seeing, yes, you're the right person for our studio. And if they've passed that phone interview, then we bring them into the studio and certainly watch them teaching face-to-face. So we kind of give them, we kind of co-teach a lesson together maybe, and see how they're going to interact with children, how their presence, what their structure is in terms of delivering the lessons. They're all the things that we're going to be looking for to hire the perfect staff member who is going to stay at your studio for years, and that your students mainly will adore. And when you get that teacher right, it changes the whole dynamic in your studio, and it just makes everything like it's a more fun place to be, and the kids love it. So just to do a quick little recap here are the steps to hiring the perfect teacher for your studio. The first is to get them to fill in a written application. I usually use an online survey kind of tool to deliver that. Then do a phone interview where you can ask them values-based questions, asking them for examples of how they have lived these values, I suppose. And the third step is to bring them into the studio to see how they interact with the students and how they deliver their lessons. My biggest tips for hiring staff is that we're looking for confidence in the teachers. Even if they're young, I guess the question is, are they coachable? Are they responsive? When you start giving them guidance, are they going to, you know, come and move with you? Can you mold them and develop their confidence? Or is that kind of a bit too much for them? And the second tip is, have they got a personality that is going to inspire attention? Are the kids just going to fall in love with that teacher and you just know it? They're the two things that are so special. When you find them in a teacher, grab hold of them. So what is your favorite must-ask question when you are hiring new teachers for your studio? Pop your question in the comments below and you'll be able to see a whole lot of ideas from other studio directors on the questions that they ask to be able to really decipher if they're the right teacher for your studio. Did you like this video? If you did, subscribe to our Studio Expansion TV YouTube channel and you'll get all the updates. Now also, if you know a friend, a studio director who is hiring staff or looking to bring on new teachers, just forward this video to them or share this video with them, and so they'll be able to start kind of putting together a list of questions to be able to make sure that they hire the right person for their studio, which is oh so important. So for more insights on how to grow your studio and how to really create an amazing experience for your students and teachers, head on over to studioexpansion.com and there you'll be able to register for our email updates, which give you everything you need to know about creating a magnificent studio. There's videos, there's trainings, there's bonus tips, things I only share with people on our email list. So thank you for watching this video and I'll see you next time on Studio Expansion TV.